Hello, I'm Dr. Brandt Gibson, and tonight I want to take the first step to help you understand how to manage your peripheral neuropathy. So this would be basically day one of 30 days. So the first thing you need to understand is you need to understand how a nerve works, how a peripheral nerve works. So what you've got the cell body. And in the cell body, you've got a nucleus where you have basically the map, the DNA that can be transcribed to give you the proteins and then the neurotransmitters and all the information that needs to be utilized by the cell to send a signal up the line. So whether it's sending a sensory signal up the line to the brain or whether it's sending a signal from the brain down to the muscles, this is the way that the nerves are going to function. So you got the nucleus where it has everything that's transcribed. You have the mitochondria, where you get the energy that's necessary to cause the cell to function. You get the Golgi apparatus where everything is built from the transcribed RNA, for example, and it helps to get everything to be prepared for transport. From the cell body, you have the axon, which is a long wire, for lack of a better way to describe it, where you start getting an electrical signal that's being sent down. In the small fibers, it's just this wire, and it's a bare wire, and the signals will move as fast as they can through that wire. In a large fiber nerve, you're going to actually have little cells that wrap it, Schwann cells that wrap it, creating a myelin sheath. This myelin sheath has little breaks after each cell, which allows for the nerve signal to move much quicker because it will jump from node of Ranvier to node of Ranvier. So it's moving down that nerve very, very quickly. And when it gets to the end of the axon, then it actually will release the electrical signal caused to be released neurotransmitters into the area just to the end of the axon so that it can actually communicate with dendrites. So you release a signal, the signal goes to the next dendrite, it communicates with the dendrite, and then the dendrite sends a signal to the cell body again so it can actually move up the line. So as you can see, for a nerve to function properly, there's a lot of different little steps, little pieces that need to be in place. So for a peripheral neuropathy, for a nerve to malfunction, there are a lot of different areas that could happen. For example, the dendrites may have an issue where they're not receiving the signal correctly, and even the cell body doesn't get the information. It could be a problem with a malfunction of the cell body, whether it's the nucleus that's not working, whether it's the RNA or DNA that's damaged, whether it's the Golgi apparatus, the endoplasmic reticulum, that are unable to do what they're supposed to do to create and package the appropriate proteins so the cell can function, or if it's the inability to transmit that to the axon, whether it's the mitochondria, which is a common problem where the mitochondria is failing and you don't have appropriate energy for the cell to function, or maybe you've got an axon problem where the axon signal is moving too slowly, whether it's because you lose the myelin sheath, or whether the signal is not strong enough because of poor mitochondria, or whether the axon itself is interrupted and injured. Any of these problems can actually lead to a problem. And then as you get to the end of the axon, if you have insufficient neurotransmitters or malformed neurotransmitters or anything like that, the signal is also not transmitted. So at any of these points, if any of these things are not working, then you will have the poor functioning nerves of peripheral neuropathy. You'll notice that the nerves are still functioning. They're still doing what they're supposed to. They're just not doing it as well. So because of that, as you understand how the nerves are functioning, then it can actually help you understand what we're going to talk about tomorrow, which is what neuropathy truly is, why it malfunctions, and what kind of symptoms you will have with peripheral neuropathy. So this is Dr. Brandt Gibson, and this is your Neuropathy Nugget day 152, as we're taking you through the 30 days to manage your peripheral neuropathy.